Crossroads Media.
The Eagles are not a good football team. They just let you know. If the last 3 weeks weren't a big enough example for you, you just went down to the wire with the team led by DeVito and Tyrod Taylor, and the Giants actually had a chance to tie up the game late. You're a disgrace. The way I label this, idiotic football. You play dumb, stupid football. Jalen Hurts sliding in bounds right before half. Luckily, the Giants are just as much of a disaster as you are that you got a second shot at it. But that was god-awful. Jalen Carter, he got his ass saved big time by the refs because not only did he not get off the field on the 4th down, and then it became 4th and 1, and the Giants elected to go for it. And once again, they are so bad that on multiple different 4th and 1s on that same drive, they try going to Barkley until Hassan Reddick sniffs it out within 1 second, and then bang, meets him nice and early with a big tackle for loss. Here's the Giants just trying to run Barkley every 4th and 1, as if at some point we weren't going to get the memo. Although, I guess it's a fair question to ask if we will ever get a memo, because this Eagles team stinks. They stink. They stink. They stink. The Eagles absolutely stink. I don't feel good at all. They ruined Christmas. They did. They ruined Christmas. Zacchaeus running into Boston Scott right after half. That's impossible. That cannot happen. And then the Giants run it in for an easy touchdown. Good. You deserve it. It would be nice if the defense could maybe have their offenses back. I know they put you in a really tough position, okay? But it would be nice to say, hey, maybe you just keep them to a field goal. Or because the Giants are so desperate, I forget what the score was at that time, but just knowing that they're not producing a lot of offense, maybe they have all 4 downs to go for it since they're super close to the end zone, and then you get a stop, and now the Eagles have some life. But no, of course that can't happen. So what, 3rd and 1? The Eagles on 3rd and 1. This pisses me off more than anything ever in the history of the world. The Birds have a play that's unstoppable, right? This isn't breaking news. There's a play that they literally can get whenever they want. They will get a 1st down whenever. Yet they want to get cute. They want to get fancy. They want to try something different. Here's the Eagles coaching staff outthinking themselves, outsmarting themselves to the point where 70,000 fans in the stands have to tell them what to do. And then when they actually do it, here's Kenneth Gainwell running 20-plus yards. Here's DeAndre Swift closing out a game the best that they can. This team struggles to close out games in general. In years past, if it was a 1-score game with 7 minutes to go, the other team doesn't even get the ball. Or if they do, there's 7 seconds left, but now you're up 2 scores because you punch it in for 7. So my point is, though, on that 3rd and 1, how do you get a tackle for loss and lose 4 yards? That's a fireable offense. I literally mean that. I legitimately mean that. If I'm Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie, and they love their analytics, they love looking at the numbers. If I see the numbers on the success rate of the push-tush, and I see 3rd and 1, and then I see a tackle for loss for 4 yards, I call him at half, or I call him when the game's over. I say, yo, motherfucker, what are you doing? Yo, motherfucker, what are we doing? I'd be losing my mind if I'm Jeffrey Lurie. Because it's just so simple. You're making the game harder than it needs to be. The entire world, even sports that aren't football, okay, baseball, hockey, anything, any sport in the world is talking about the push right now, and you still manage to screw it up. I cannot get over the poor coaching. And then also just dumb football by Sidney Brown. Tyrod Taylor leaves his feet to slide, and then you just feel the need to lower your shoulder, lower your head, hit him, and then that negates a penalty that the Giants got. What are you doing? Hassan Reddick leaving his feet and diving into the legs of Tyrod Taylor for a personal flag. What are you doing? This is stupid, horrendous football. Reed Blankenship, who's so damn overrated, by the way, allows Slayton to catch a 70-yard bomb just when you thought maybe you could breathe and you can relax for a half a second. No, of course not, because Reed Blankenship gets exposed. It's unbelievable. Slayton, Tyrod Taylor, I don't even know why they made the switch. Now, look, I'm not telling you DeVito's great, but in regards to what DeVito was doing, it just felt to me, and I really wasn't caring at all about DeVito whatsoever, but just watching this game, it looked like he was doing what he was told. Get the ball out quick, throw it quickly to your left or your right to one of your skill position players, and just see if they can go run for a bunch of yards. Then at halftime, they make the change. I almost wonder if that was part of Brian Daboll's plan the whole way. Let's see if we can catch them off guard. They're obviously diving deep into the tape of what DeVito has done over the last few weeks. Let's see if we can add a wrinkle. Not that DeVito was playing great. I don't think he was playing great at all, and they didn't play great against the Saints the previous week. There's plenty of reasons why you move on from DeVito. I know all the Italians are mad at him because he put up, I guess, a promo, and he put up a commercial on social media that him and his mother for the chicken cutlets used jarred pasta sauce, jarred gravy, and just lit the whole Italian world on fire. All right, well, I guess once you do that, you lose your starting job. Here's Tyrod Taylor. It should have never been that close, though. Should never, ever, 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 ever been that close. Ever. Dallas Goedert slips. Now here's a pick six. And I just did a Bleacher Report instant reaction stream, and someone in the chat said that I'm not allowed to put blame on Jalen Hurts for that interception. No. I will put blame on him in general because realistically, he should have been picked off right beforehand. Now, there was also some gross football prior. Mailata gets a block in the back, which was brutal. And then they also had to use a timeout right before that interception, which was brutal. They are not on the same page. They're not playing clean, and they are very out of whack. And when you're this out of sync, you have to start looking at Nick Sirianni. And I told you weeks ago, the foundation is cracked. Nobody wanted to hear it because they were playing good teams, and you can't just live through a gauntlet and win all the time. And that was sort of your defensive mechanism. What now? And it's not they won. There's no way you can be satisfied with this win. You should be disgraced. You should be pissed off. That was a disgusting display of football. And if you are supposed to be a serious contender, you cannot play that sloppy. Any other team in the league outside of maybe 2 or 3 will annihilate you if you give them all the chances that you gave this team. But why I'm still criticizing Jalen Hurts is Simmons on the second drive should have had an easy pick six, and his butterfinger hands, it just slipped right through him. And that drive was actually supposed to be important here. And let me go to this spot. 18 plays, 8 minutes, and it results in a field goal. This is where I don't know if the coaching staff knows how to think the game. They go for it on 4th and 5 at the Giants 30. Okay, we like aggression. We like playing that way. We want to be the team that puts your foot on the gas and forces the other team's defense to win a play. I got no problem with that. But in what world, 4th and 5 on the Giants 5, is it we have to kick a field goal? I don't think that message really resonates. I don't think that stress is something that makes sense. There's no logic in that. 4th and 5 on the 30, yes. 4th and 5 on the 5, no. Is it because you don't trust your red zone? And if that's the case, think about what that says to your entire team. I don't understand. But I do know that Jalen Hurts should have been picked off twice in this game prior to the Dallas Goedert slip. So this is almost the football gods evening it out. When someone is at the free throw line and they miss the free throw after something you think was an awful call, you say, ball don't lie. All right, this is a ball don't lie scenario, and that was brutal. And then the horse collar happens. It was so much just terrible football. I cannot believe that Jalen Carter is that unaware of situational football. Their entire team is unaware of situational football. Using a timeout after wasting so much time right before the Jalen Hurts debacle sliding inbounds. right before half. The list goes on and on and on. Real legitimate teams don't do this. And, now I'm starting to question some of the other wins, whether it's fair or not. Look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Was it really that impressive of a win? I know beating Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes on the road is always going to be a difficult task, and winning is a lot better than losing. Winning ugly is better than losing pretty, and I stand by that for sure. This is something else, though. If you are struggling against the New York Giants team that I don't even know how they have as many wins as they do. That team sucks. That team is so pathetic. How do they have as many wins as they do? Blows my mind. And they really could have at least made this even more interesting than it already was if they weren't as much of a mess as they are. Like, if you played seriously any other team but maybe 3, then you might have lost by 10. You might have lost by 14. You might have lost by 20. In your own stadium. Those boos were heavy too, and they should have been. I want everyone to know on that sideline, this is terrible, terrible, and you cannot keep it up. Now, something that's not terrible, my friends at HelloFresh. What is HelloFresh, you ask? It is farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes that are delivered right to your doorstep. So skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Listen to this. There's nothing worse than a crazy schedule, and then you fall back into dinner time recipe ruts. So you can keep mealtime exciting with over 40 recipes to choose from every week. So there's always something delicious to discover with HelloFresh. HelloFresh does all the shopping for you, and it gets the ingredients right to your doorstep, pre-portioned and ready to cook, along with pictured step-by-step recipe cards. It does not get any easier than that. It's also cheap, fellas. HelloFresh is 25% less expensive than takeout. So that means you get easy home-cooked meals on the table and even more money back in your pocket. So go to HelloFresh.com/50broads for 50% off plus free shipping. That's 50% off and free shipping with promo code 50broads. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. Make sure you check the link down below in the description. Excuse me. So I will give Jalen Hurts credit here. He did make one play that I think maybe could have changed the trajectory of these final 2 games. Although I could see Jonathan Gannon beating you, and I could see the New York Giants beating you in MetLife Stadium, regardless on if it's the last game of the year, regardless on how much they really feel like competing at that point, the Giants, that is. If they can hurt the Eagles, trust me, there's enough heated rivalry and enough hatred. That doesn't matter if it's the last game or not. At this point, anything is on the table. But Jalen Hurts played so all over the place. That 3rd and 20 was great. That 3rd and 20 to A.J. Brown, who was clearly hurt, and I thought he maybe got the wind knocked out of him early there when they went to the commercial break and he went into the sidelines, and then he ended up returning quickly. It was a big, big hit towards his back, and, you could just tell that he was limited. You could tell that he was battling through something. That 3rd and 20 was a massive, massive, we are going to switch this script right now style of play, and it was so neat. 3rd and 20. I mean, who the hell would know where that game could have went? But who would know where the game would have went if that 4th and 4 call wasn't on the Giants center and instead was rightfully called on Jalen Carter? I cannot believe that he did 2 dumb, idiotic things like that. It can't happen. I'm sorry. You have to be more aware. You have to have these things played out in your mind prior to snap. And speaking of things that I just can't justify, Clay Harbor, who played in this league for 7, 8, 9 years or so, he put up a fantastic little back-to-back play sequence online, and it was Dallas Goedert. And it was Dallas Goedert not willing to actually compete for some blocks to help out the run game. Just said, you know what? I'll take these plays off. I don't know. I don't know if I really feel like it here. Dallas Goedert surprised me. Dude's a warrior. I love him to death. I wonder if he's aggravated. I don't think it has anything to do with the previous injury, and he was banged up and the whole forearm thing, and then he came back rather quickly. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I wonder if he expected to be more of a threat in this pass game. I wonder if he thought that he could be just as lethal as A.J. Brown, and instead, this has just been so fundamentally flawed that now he's giving up on some plays, and that would be another example of the head coach losing some of that locker room power. I don't know what you can say to think that you're inspiring this crew after such an ugly win. You got to actually get right. This is a get right game, not a, okay, wet yourself for 4 hours and then somehow still get a W because the team you played wet themselves more than you. That's totally unacceptable, and that's not enough for me to feel satisfied. I'll be basically ripping them apart on WIP all week long. And if you are listening to this before 2 a.m. Tuesday morning, I'm working the overnight shift 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. Tuesday morning. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'll be on afternoon drive with John Johnson for a couple of those days and Marcus Hayes for Friday. And then Saturday, I'll be on with Rob Ellis from 3 to 8. So a lot of time on the airwaves this week. I'm really looking forward to talking to all of you and everybody out there about this team and where they go from here and what is their ceiling and can they even win a playoff game? Do they deserve a bunch of love for finding a way to win, or is it a full-on we destroy them for the next 2 weeks because they deserve it, because we are just reacting to what they do? I hate it sometimes when it's like, you're being too negative, you're being too harsh. Don't get mad at me. My job is just to react. Get mad at the team. They're not doing enough. They're not playing well enough. They're not executing cleanly enough. We know what it looks like to win a championship. We now have finally seen a Lombardi trophy lifted in this town. So we've seen it. And then when the standard, which is their words and what they like to say, when the standard isn't met to what a Super Bowl caliber team is, well, then it's my job to hold them accountable. So when you get angry because maybe you would like some more positivity or you would like some more excitement and some like, all right, good, they got off the schneid, that's not my job. It's their job to make me feel that comfortable. I'm not that comfortable. And I'm not that comfortable because I don't trust the head coach. I don't know if the head coach knows what he's doing. I really, really believe that. I want to see what A.J. Brown had to say. A.J. Brown declined to talk. I got nothing nice to say. That's A.J. Brown. Okay. That's where your locker room is. That's where your locker room is. And I'm to believe that Nick Sirianni has the pulse properly in this locker room. Absolutely not. Nick Sirianni says, I get animated a lot. Basically, Sirianni says these things happen. You move on quickly when you have good relationships. Is that how the players feel? That was from Les Bowen. He was questioning that as well. Like, okay, Sirianni can say that he gets animated all he wants, but is that something that the actual players appreciate? Or at some point, do they roll their eyes? It's a fair question. Jordan Davis says, all he wanted for Christmas was a win. I know we're stressing out people at home, but it is important to get a win. I can't tell you how important that is. I agree, Jordan. I agree. I do. Nick Sirianni, Philadelphia, get out there and vote for Britton Covey for the Pro Bowl. Okay. You did get some nice love out of your punt returner there for the first touchdown, a good return. Awesome. But guess what? I don't give a damn. Not one damn about Britton Covey right now at all. But Nick thinks that the mistakes this team makes, they're correctable. Okay, it's only been happening for a month now. It's only been happening for way too long. Are they correctable? I don't think so. I'm not being fooled. Now, maybe he's right. Maybe he does have the answer. But guess what, Nick? If that's the case, can we see it? You have to show it to me first. I'm supposed to just magically believe all of a sudden it's here? When it's over and over and over and over again, and the dumb mistakes happen every single week, every single quarter, every single half of a quarter, there's another one. Well, then isn't it just part of who you are? Isn't this just real? This is you? That's how strongly I feel about it. I've seen it enough now to know that this is just who you are. It's a crazy, crazy turnaround, but it's where we are. All right, let's run to the phones. Let's go to the Anytime Hotline. Let's hear from you.
Hey, man, yeah. I'm watching this game, and it's like, okay, I'll say this. It's better than what we've gotten for these past 3 weeks. Better offense we've got for the past 3 weeks. Better defense we've gotten. But what the heck? Why are we letting the Giants stay in the game? First, you got Alameda Zacchaeus and Walford got running into each other and then fumbling it. And then you got them doing the 2-point conversion. And I'm like, bro, if we clean up these messes, which we haven't done all season, we should honestly be up 30-10 still. I don't know. I don't know. Tell me if I'm bugging.
You're not bugging. You're not bugging. Be angry. I think you're bugging when you say, hey, at least it's better than what we got for the past 3 weeks. I think that's where you're bugging. I think that's where you're off base. You should just be pissed as we've been over the last 3 weeks, because the Giants blow. DeVito blows. That team sucks, and you just let them actually hang around and make some wild, crazy plays. The game was drunk, but you allowed the game to be drunk. A 70-yard bomb to Slayton to keep them involved with a few minutes to go. I want to end the game with the ball in our hands. Devontae Smith said that after the game, and I couldn't co-sign it anymore. Let's wrap it up and put the game away and finish the job where the other team doesn't even get a chance. But you're letting opponents hang around. And guess what? When you play, if you even get to the point where you play the 49ers, where you play any of these other teams that actually have talent, dude, they'll be laughing in your face, man. You'll be golfing before you know it, unfortunately. You'll be heading down to Sea Isle and hanging out on the beach with your family and seeing Brandon Graham, Jason Kelsey, Bryce Harper, and the entire city of Philadelphia because you ain't competing in the playoffs anymore. We can make fun of Dallas all we want, and we should. Losing to the Dolphins, their record on the road against good teams, they're a joke too. At the end of the day, they're a joke too. But guess what? I don't care about them right now. And I took my shots Christmas Eve because why wouldn't I? But I even stated after I took those shots, I'm saying this as if we might not lose to a guy who has a nickname of Chicken Cutlets. Now, you didn't, but the fact that they even had a chance to throw it into the end zone in an 8-point game, you kick a field goal, it's an 8-point game. Go get 7! 7! 7! Go get 7! Why are we kicking field goals? Because you're not good enough. You're not good enough. You tighten up when the moment gets tense, and when the moment gets big, you don't know what to do. Devontae Smith, 11 wins. We're not playing good football right now. We're not where we want to be right now. Pretty much anybody in here, they'll tell you the same exact thing. And there's so much emphasis on it, I don't know if they can get out of this because I know it wouldn't optically be a good look if you saw some guys loose, but they need to somehow get loose. They do. They're too tight. They're too tense. They're too, obsessed with certain characteristics, and I don't really know how to explain it, but I think it would go a long way if they just breathed, okay? If they just enjoyed playing the game. Doesn't look like they're enjoying what they're doing at all, and it's just about being so perfect, and everything needs to be so to a T perfect that they're getting unperfect plays because you're trying to be so perfect. You're never going to play a perfect game, and I get that, and some of the mistakes that I'm angry with will happen in games when you're playing well. You're going to have a holding penalty. You're going to have a block in the back penalty by Jordan Mailata. Some of these things are just part of the game, and I get that. No, maybe not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 that I've written down in bullet points. If we could maybe strip that down to 3, all right, if we could strip that down to 4, maybe it happens if you could just naturally go out and enjoy what the hell you're doing, and then it naturally knocks down some of these penalties because you're so tense. But I think they're so far past that point that they don't stand a chance of getting there. Now, if they haven't gotten there now after the 3-game losing skid and all that, and during that 3-game losing skid, I saw how they handled adversity. And how they handle adversity, they don't have the willpower to to take that step back and breathe and enjoy and get loose and then go out and execute. They don't have that, or else you would have seen a 40-7 win against the New York Giants. So I have all the information I need now to know. Let's go back to the phones.
Man, bro, that was a horrible win. That was just rough to watch all around. I mean, the Giants are not that good. And the fact that it was down to the last play, man, our defense needs to figure it out, because now more than ever, we're just struggling all around. I mean, Gannon, who knew that guy meant so much at this point, is just like, it's rough to watch. I mean, we finally got a win, but too close for comfort, especially against a team we're about to play again. We gotta see how it goes. Anyways, Merry Christmas. Congratulations on the kid.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Appreciate it. I'm not ready to give Gannon any flowers, all right? He got the linebackers. He got T.J. Edwards. He got Kaiser White. He had Javon Hargrave, who was on a mission last year. He had guys 1 year younger as well, someone like Brandon Graham. Double-digit sacks. He's got a lot of miles on his tires at this rate. By no means, you got what, Van Sumeren playing linebacker and logging in a bunch of snaps, especially early on. I saw Tim McManus fly out some of the snap counts, and Quez Watkins was barely playing. Zacchaeus is out there, awesome block for the Smitty touchdown. But what in the world happened with Boston Scott right when that second half started? That's crazy talk. It's crazy. Gannon had better personnel. Bradbury was an all-pro. Now Bradbury's burnt toast, and that's a Bradbury problem, not a Desai problem, not a Patricia problem. She doesn't have anything left in the tank. Quite frankly, it's a Howie Roseman problem for being forced to have to sign him because they're unwilling to get great talent elsewhere. But anyway, I digress. I screamed about that over the last week already a bunch of times. Now it's not the time to do it, although I'll do it anytime I want to do it. That's the luxury of having this show. Gannon? No, I will not give Gannon credit. But I'll give my friends over at TickPick a lot of credit, because they have the best prices on the market guaranteed. If you click the link down below in the description, my promo code is already activated with it, and you will get $10 off of your purchase when buying tickets to go to the Sixers, the Flyers, a concert. If you're not even a Philadelphia sports fan, you can use that in your market as well. I just used them as the example, of course, because of teams in town here. But our ticket prices at TickPick will beat any of the major competing marketplaces. If you find the same seats elsewhere at a better price than TickPick, you get 110% of the price difference in form of TickPick credit. And there's also upfront pricing, so no more doing the math in your head to prepare for how much extra you plan on spending on top of the listed price than on other sites, because the price you see on TickPick is the price you'll pay at checkout, period. End of story. There's no added service fees, hidden fees, or otherwise. So maybe call up some family members, call up some loved ones, take some of your Christmas money, and go check out John Tortorella live. Go check out Joel Embiid in action, and get yourself to a game today. Okay, back to the phones.
What's up, bros? It's Al from Orlando. Whatever. I mean, we won. I guess it's good. I guess. We all know that we're going to lose when we get to the playoffs at this point.
Yeah.
So, might as well pack it up. Good game. Terrible defense. They really, I mean, if they would have caught the ball a few times and capitalized off of, big mistakes that we made, they would have won that game. Another point. Does the coach know how to do hot routes? I mean, does Jalen know how to do hot routes? They're blitzing all game. The middle of the field is wide open for a hot route. I don't know what the hell's going on, man. But whatever. Thanks, bros.
So that's two callers.
Oh,
thank you very much. As my hair's flying around everywhere, I'm all disheveled. I'm disheveled because of this football team. So a couple calls here on the defense. See, I guess where I'm flawed is I guess the defense is what it is. I know what the defense is. The defense is what it is. Your offense against the Giants, three and out, some drives in there that made me sick, and then settling for field goals. I just think the problem right now is more on the offense than the defense. The defense is bad, but the defense is what it is. The offense struggles, and I think the offense has a higher ceiling than what we're getting. I think the defense is giving you what they have. Does that make sense? A few tackles by Shaq Leonard. I know people are getting all excited about that early on. When you have to go out and get Byard, and you have to get Leonard, and you have to get Roby, and these are the type of moves you have to make, it tells you everything about where your defense is. There's a lot of guys. It's not just like one guy at the deadline that helps out. You're basically rebuilding. Sidney Brown's now playing a lot of snaps in there. Before, in the beginning of the season, you had who? Edmonds and Reed Blankenship and, Nakobe Dean. And I don't even know if Nakobe Dean can play, quite frankly. You're just throwing all this stuff trying to put Band-Aids on it right now. The reason you have to do that at so many positions is because they're just not good enough. The Eagles' offense, their ceiling should be significantly higher than the production we're getting. So I'm so much angrier at that side of the ball, regardless of specific plays on defense or regardless on anything else. I'm just so angry with Hurts and A.J., Devontae, Dallas, Sirianni, Johnson. Just a lot of it. It just pisses me off, and I think it should be way, way better. All right, everybody, I appreciate everything that you guys do. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. I greatly appreciate all your support. That was something. Talk to you guys all on the next one.